Hey everyone, Jill Coleman here with JillFit Physiques. I'm answering your questions today. So I had a question. Someone asked me, is it important to increase my protein and increase my carbohydrates on leg day to help me recover if I want fat loss? Okay, so the number one thing here is to remember, what is my goal? If my goal is fat loss, is my goal muscle gain? Unfortunately, it's really hard to do both at the same time. It is possible a little bit with nutrition, with manipulating post-workout nutrition, but I want you guys to think about with fat loss, you don't really need to be like carbing up and having a whole bunch of extra calories if your goal is fat loss. In fact, that window post-workout that you're worried about getting in your protein and your carb, it's not as important if you want fat loss. If you want muscle gain, the post-workout window is very important. Between that 30 and 60-minute window, you definitely want to get a quickly absorbed protein as well as a higher sweet carbohydrate, higher GI carb. But if you want fat loss, you really don't need to be eating right away, and you definitely don't need to be upping your protein and upping your carbohydrates on those days if your goal is not muscle building. Here's one thing that you might want to think about in terms of recovery is using branched chain amino acids. So if you haven't used them before, you want to get the powdered version. Branched chain amino acids, you definitely want to try and get a flavored version if you can because it tastes kind of nasty. I would suggest doing 5 grams pre-workout and 5 grams after your workout and start there. If you need to do a little bit more, that's fine. But in terms of recovery, you don't really need to be eating a whole bunch of carbs and a whole bunch of extra protein or extra calories on those days unless your goal is muscle building. If it's fat loss, keep your calories pretty much the same throughout the week. Doesn't really matter if you do arms, if you do back, if you do chest, if you do legs. It doesn't really matter. Monitor your progress. If you're just super lethargic on days that you do legs, then you might need to increase your calories. But I think you'll find that if you keep them pretty much the same from day to day, you won't notice huge swings in energy or anything like that. So monitor, see how you do, and hopefully it helps.